Next, we're going to get into language, tone, and delivery. So now you may have heard some of these before, but I promise you pay attention. There's going to be things that you have not heard before. All right. So we're going to dive into language, tone, and delivery right now. This is broken down into 3 parts: words, pitch, and inflection. The words that you use, like your pitch, right? How you deliver, and then your inflection. And we're going to get into what all those mean. Rhythm and equanimity. Rhythm and equanimity is a critical part of public speaking, but also speaking with the people around you, maybe in a small room, right? Then I'm going to share with you my 4 anchors strategy. I'm going to do this at ISCA in a couple weeks. I'm going to do this at Talia in a couple weeks. I use this strategy all the time and it absolutely works. So you're going to want to know that. Let's see. Thank you for putting into words. Oh, good. I'm so glad that that has helped you. Fantastic. So let's get to section 2, language, tone, and delivery. All right, so language. We all know this, and I'm just going to say this because this is something that we really want to pay attention to. Limit your your like. Limit your jokes. Limit your jokes, for the love of goodness. Limit your jokes, right? Mumbles, it can be very easy to mumble. Limit your mumbles, right? And I've seen people do this before where they say, hey, I had a bad morning. I actually saw this one detective was presenting to a group of chiefs, and he walked into the room and he said, this is what not to do. He walked into the room and he said, yeah, my chief just told me I had to be here, so I don't have anything really prepared, but I can do the best I can. I was like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Let's see. Say yes to imagery. Imagine yourself in front of that, maybe as I'm delivering this presentation, I say to you, imagine yourself delivering the most beautiful presentation of your life. Imagine the feeling that you get afterwards. Show people imagery, right? Really talk about the scenery, talk about the colors, the feeling that you would get should you be in that exact scenario. Give people the image of what it is that is enticing and intriguing in a presentation. Talk about purpose, right? So the purpose of this presentation is to give you some tools to be more confident in talking one-on-one with someone or in public speaking. Here's the purpose. Tell people the purpose up front so they know what they're getting into. And then also set the expectations. If you noticed in the beginning of this presentation, I said to you, what do you want to know, right? And then I asked you, what do you want to know? And then I said to you, we have a lot to cover today, and we're going to get to it at, we'll get to X, Y, and Z, right? So I told you the expectations. I've been telling you the expectations all along. Take out your notebooks, write this down. That's sharing some expectations of what I expect, right? Whether or not you took out a piece of paper doesn't really matter. I hope that you did, but it doesn't really matter. But I've delivered my expectation. I've told you what to expect in this delivery, and I've got you excited. So be sure to provide imagery, be sure to provide purpose in the very, very beginning, and be sure to provide that expectation. Right? So you can expect to be here. And I said to you in the very beginning, for 90 minutes, what do you expect to learn, or what do you want to learn? So you see how I did that? You can do that too. And we're going to talk about structure in just a little bit. Okay. So what is pitch and inflection? Pitch is so important when you are delivering one-on-one in a small group or with people. So you don't want to be in this monotone. I will tell you, I've seen analysts do that, where they walk up and they say, keynote speaker, best-selling author, certified trainer, subject matter expert. I mean, no one cares when you're talking like that. So get the monotone out. Use inflection throughout your speech really to indicate confidence, finality, power, and certainty. So what is inflection? I just did it right there. It's how I delivered the message to you. So here's inflection poorly. Use inflection throughout your speech to indicate confidence, finality, power, and certainty. That's inflection done poorly. Here's it done well. Use inflection throughout your speech to indicate confidence, finality, power and certainty. So you see how I kind of paused, right? And I have like really an attention to certain words. So that's what you want to do, is you want to define the key points that you're trying to drive home and really inflect on them. I don't think that's a word, but we're going to say it. We're going to go with it, right? Kevin says, I think jokes come into play the longer the presentation is. There's a huge difference between presenting for an hour and presenting for an entire day. Videos, jokes, etc. help keep the audience attention. Absolutely. So if you have a day-long presentation, you got to put in someone's voice other than yours. All right. So I have Jim Mallard and Christopher Bruce. I stole some really fun videos from them that I deliver in my presentations all the time to give it like a little break. If you have these one-day presentations, I teach for a week at a time, 8 hours a day. Yes, you better throw some jokes in there. The jokes that I'm talking about that you don't want to do are the ones that are insensitive. So I went to a presentation once, and this gentleman thought he was being really funny when he got up to the front and he said, "Sorry, everyone, I'm late. I was behind an Asian female." And I'm like, what did he just say? Those are not the jokes that you want to deliver. So Kevin is correct that you want to really break up your presentation if it's quite long, but really be careful about the kind of jokes that you tell, because you don't want anyone to be offended. Now, this last one is your question voice. I went to a presentation the other day where the presenter was saying and talking like this, and it drove me flipping nuts, okay? So you think about this for a second. You have positive things to say. So if you're talking like this, right? We have lots to get through. What do you want to learn? Like if you're talking like that, you're actually giving me a question. Don't talk like that. Give that confident delivery. When you ask a question at the end of your sentences, it can be quite annoying, right? And so don't ask questions unless it's a real question. Okay, so how many of you do that? How many of you speak in the question voice and you're like, oh my God, she got me, she got me. I have to stop talking in the question voice, right? So this is something that hopefully you can get a handle on. Just really be able to bring your pitch and inflection down as you're completing your sentences and not raise it up. All right, bring it down. Okay, all right. Let's talk about rhythm and equanimity. So rhythm, the flow of your voice. Equanimity, the being okay with whatever happens. Beating like it's like a drum, right? So dun 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 dun. Breathe, right? Sticking to 3s or 4s. So when you give a presentation, you want to have 3 main topics like we do here, right? You want to have 3 main topics. Stick to 3s. They're so much easier to remember than this long laundry list of like 22 topics. When I deliver 1-day presentations or 5-day presentations, everything is broken down into 3s. Chunks of 3s, right? So we have a 45-minute presentation. We have 3 main topics that we want to touch upon. The next 45 minutes is 3 main ideas, right? So you want to have these chunks of 3s, and you want to breathe. Breathe as you're presenting, okay? If you struggle, if you're saying, oh gosh, I can't remember what I'm supposed to say, take a deep breath, realize that it's okay, and you will jump back in, all right? It's like beating a drum, beating a drum, beating a drum. All right, so that's a really important one. So if you find that you are speaking very quickly and you don't know how to stop yourself and you're going so fast, then come back and say, I'm not speaking very quickly. I can slow myself down, and here I go. All right, I'm from New England and I actually speak very quickly. And when I'm in Texas, when I remember presenting in Texas for the first time, and just like, slow down and don't drink coffee the next time you come here. So really knowing your audience is quite key. All right, you guys are quiet in the chat right now. Go ahead in the chat, all of you, and let me know what's resonating with you right now. Is any of this new? Is any of this challenging you specifically? Is something here saying to you, oh, I need to work on this, right? Demetrius, I get excited about presenting things. I'm passionate. Yes, I like it. 3 main topics. Fantastic. Everything is helping. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. I fast talk and never knew, remembering to breathe, tone. Oh, Brittany, you're from New Jersey. You and I have a lot of work to do, huh, Brittany? Sandra as well. Inflection and speed. You tend to speak faster and go down. Yes, yes. Rodney from New York, you have my problem, Rodney, don't you? It takes a little bit of work. Great. Thank you for all of these comments. I'm reading them all. And I'm actually going to go back after this training and take a look at all the comments to make sure that I answered all of your questions. Okay. Now we are talking about Sherry. Oh, I'm going to pause here. Sherry says, I'm just so nervous in front of people. Okay, so I'm going to go back to that slide about mindset. Is that a story about your past that you're telling yourself? I'm just so nervous around people. You've just told yourself that you're nervous. So guess what? You're going to be nervous. I'm going to take Sherry because she had the courage to put this on here. We're going to take her as an example, but I know that this applies to more of you than just her. So instead of living in that history, she might say to herself, I am on a journey to public speaking with excellence, and I'm working toward speaking with flow, with confidence, with energy. So eliminating that nervous talk and really saying, I'm on a journey. Now, I don't necessarily believe in telling yourself you're the thing before you're the thing, but I do believe in saying I'm on a journey. I'm working intently to achieve great public speaking skills, right? Okay, beautiful. Yes, Mary, let's see, problem, stay focus, beautiful. I love these. Okay, I'm about to teach you this 4 anchor strategy. So for those of you, if you're going to IACA, the conference, go ahead and plug in IACA right here. We're gonna be saying hi to Geotime over there. There's gonna be some representatives. We'll say hi to Geotime over there. But if you're going to the IACA training in Chicago in just a few weeks, go ahead and type in IACA, International Association of Crime Analysts. I will be there presenting, and I will be using this very strategy. Oh, Rebecca's here. Yes, yes. Hopefully it gets approved. Rebecca, go anyway. Go anyway. Whether or not it's approved, go anyway. So, okay, I won't get you in trouble. You give yourself a pep talk. Yes, yes, exactly. So several of you are going to ICA. Find me. I want to meet you in person. All right, find me. I think I'm presenting on Thursday, so find me. All right, so 4 anchor strategy. So this is the strategy. Now this box right here, imagine it to be your room that you're delivering a presentation. Now this really can be applied to a room of 20 people and a room of 200 people, right? So this can be applied on multiple levels. This is the 4 anchor strategy. Has anyone heard of this strategy before? Let's see, Melissa, you tend to trail off at the end. Yes, yes, exactly. So you can work on that. I work on that too. So has anyone heard of this 4 anchor strategy, right? It's new to Rebecca, new to several of you. Okay. So this strategy is my go-to. It works every flipping time. I'm so excited to share it with you. I can't wait for you to just scribble down some notes and use it the next time you present. Even if it's a room of a comp stat room of a couple people, right? Maybe 20 people. It still works, right? 4 anchor strategy. So imagine that this box right here is your audience, okay? You show up to your presentation. Do not show up on time. Show up early, okay? I 100% always, always, always show up early, even if it's just 5 minutes, right? And here's what I do. I walk around to the 4 corners of the room, to the right top, to the right rear, to the left top, to the left rear. And I make contact with 4 people who seem very, very friendly, right? And I ask them a little bit about themselves. I'm not going to remember what agency they're from because that's too much for my brain. If it's some like long name that I won't remember, I'm not going to ask them that. I might ask them, what's your favorite part of your job? Or they might have like a pin on them and I might ask them about the pin, or they might be, a dog person and I ask them about their dog or whatever, right? So I get to know the 4 friendly faces in the 4 corners of the audience. That's key. Even if it's 5 minutes, getting to know them. That's only 4 things to remember. Because when you present, Fran and Morgan, when you present, you want to connect with your audience, right? So how do you connect with them? You get to know them beforehand. And you can't get to know everybody. So get to know 4 people in each of the areas. And then as you present, right? So you're asking them questions, and often I will, talk with someone, I'll run back and I'll say, okay, Julia said Julia likes dogs. She has a dog named Toady, or whatever, right? So I write it down. And then I move around the room. I get to know as many people as I can, but I really document in my brain, maybe even on a piece of paper, these 4 people, right? And those are my anchors. So as I'm presenting, yes, Demetrius, as I'm presenting, I might say, I'm looking at Julia in that far left-hand corner. I'm looking at Lorraine in this close left-hand corner. I'm looking at Rebecca in this right-hand area. And then I'm looking at, Sarah in the far right corner. And so my eyes are going to people who we've built a semi relationship with. I feel more confident because they're like nodding, right? Because they're nice. I wouldn't do this with not nice people, and so not that there's many not nice people, but the friendly faces, the ones that I'm talking about, right? So then as I'm giving my presentation, I might say, let's say I'm talking about burglaries, right? And so I might say, Julia, if she was the victim of a burglary, her dog, Toady or Toad, so I would bring her into the conversation, right? I would apply something specific about her to the conversation. Maybe I found out that Rebecca was a student and she was looking to get a job in crime analysis. I might say something like, Rebecca, I know, I might be presenting up here and saying, these are the key things that every agency needs to know. And then I might turn to Rebecca, the student, and say, Rebecca, you have an upper hand being a student because now you know what everybody should know. So I connect people to the conversation using this 4-corner strategy. And I will tell you, this works every single time. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel better that I know some friendly faces that at least I know one thing about, and it allows me to connect with my crowd. So the 4 anchor strategy, there's lots of strategies that I could teach you around walking, not standing in front of a podium, all that stuff. But the 4 anchor strategy is the #1 strategy that I use. And I love it. It feels so good to be presenting and having some friendly faces. And you'll notice the engagement in the room is much better when other people see 4 people engaging. It's a wonderful technique, right? So Demetrius says, when people are more engaged with the speaker, it also encourages me to be more engaged so that I don't get caught off guard in case I'm called upon. Yes, exactly, right? Exactly. So there's so much psychology behind this particular strategy, the people, the different visuals, as well as that connection piece and a couple of other things. You can do your research on it, but it is quite a helpful strategy. And I hope it helps you. All right. Shantu, if you are listening to this presentation, that one's for you. All right. So this section, to wrap it up, we talked about some effective language to use, right? So not too many jokes, kind of limiting the likes, the ums. That takes practice. It really, really does. It just takes practice. Proper pitch and inflection, really making sure that you don't ask questions in your paragraphs, in your sentences. Don't do that. And, be able to articulate proper pitch and inflection. So when you're giving your CompStat presentation, burglaries are up, and here is why, right? Very confidently, right? Keep your rhythm, be able to bring yourself back to a rhythm. Bring yourself back to a rhythm, okay? And then, of course, that 4 anchor strategy. If that strategy was helpful to anybody here, go ahead and type in the number 4. It's super easy. It's a little button on your keyboard or your phone. Press the number 4 if that was helpful for you. All right, fantastic. I see that it's helpful for so many of you.